Well, another knock from the postie on the door the other day saw this lovely little bundle of coaches arrive from Hattons. These are all pre-grouping coaches of the 4 and 6 wheel persuasion, which are expected from the manufacturer later this year, and these are the decorated samples, so not completely representative of the final model necessarily, but you can get a very good impression of how these will look. So these are the 4 and 6 wheel pre-grouping coaches of generic design produced by Hattons exclusives, or Hattons Originals as they call themselves. So these depict many that were produced by railway companies from the mid to late 1800s, some of which would survive in use up to the 1950s. Now these aren't going to be in sort of passenger use by the 50s, it's more departmental or part of a service train, perhaps even a mess van, although most likely parked in a siding somewhere as stores. So looking at these models, they're suitable for era 2 and 3, and the manufacturer is producing them in GWR, GNR, LNWR, SECR, LB and SCR, LMS, LNER, SR and departmental livery guises. So there's a very good choice of models to select from those particular different liveries there. Bearing in mind that adding to that, you've also got the 4 and 6 wheel varieties to choose from. And then you've got full brake, brake thirds. You've got, I mean, you can get an idea just by looking at the door. If we do a door count on this one here, for example, so we've got 5 doors. That is a 5-compartment coach. We look over here. We've got 4 doors with the central lavatory there. So looking at this one here, we've got a 5-compartment 2-axle. We've got an end brake here, which is a 3-axle. And we have 3 compartments to the left. You get an idea by looking at the coaches, just counting the doors, because obviously there's no corridor between compartments in these. Yeah, looking at them though, they are extremely well detailed, and you get 2 types of different wheels on the batches. So you can have a choice of either the mansell or the 3-hole. And you also get optional details such as full brake rigging, and they've got painted interiors as well, which is great. All coaches negotiate second radius curves, so they are capable of travelling on all layouts. You can see the underframe detail there is absolutely exquisite. So all coaches are fitted with gas lighting except the GWR variants, which are oil, and the departmental, which are electric. So you can get an idea though. Let's just take a look though at the teak version here, which is exquisite. I mean, the way they've captured the teak effect on the coach, I think is very well done. Now obviously this is not the definitive coach, but you can probably say it's about 90–95% how it will look when the main batch leaves the factory. You can see there the Monsell wheels, nicely decorated. That's what we like to see. Plenty of underframe detail. There are 2 underframe choices with these models. You've obviously also got gas cylinder there underneath, and yeah, very nicely detailed as you'd expect. Plenty of travel on the centre axle of this 6-wheel coach, and I'm led to believe that this can unclip easily if required, but you can see there's a clever sliding mechanism there, a sort of form of rail on which this coach travels, and then you've got cutouts in the running boards there along the side to enable the axle boxes to clear them. So that's for your second radius curves. On the 4-wheel iterations, you can see there's excellent crest detail as well, painted interiors, and coaches are either equipped with lights or not equipped with lights, and if equipped with lights you can have the DCC function, whereby if the power is supplied to the track they can be lit, or alternatively if you fit them with a decoder you can control the lighting from the function of your decoder. So ideal for a nighttime running session. If we look at the ducats on the brake there, you can see, not sure how easy it is to pick up the detail on camera, but you can see there's a form of contact rail there which runs down into the corners to transmit power, I believe, from the wheels to the lighting. You can also see the luggage racks inside if you look very carefully, just above the compartments. Probably easier to see these when these coaches are lit. And there appears to be a form of capacitor in that compartment there, just tucked away out of sight. You could probably disguise that with a few passengers. There's a little bit of wiring showing there as well in that corner, but bear in mind these are pre-production samples, and the final batch of models quite possibly might have those wires disguised. So these models have been handled, not just by myself, but by the guys at Hattons. So screws on the underframe there to hold the running boards in place. So if you want to remove them, it's easily done. There's just three holding each side in place. And again, with the NEM coupling sockets, you can remove those with a screw to either end. So if you want to detail these and have screw link couplings or 3 links, whichever you decide, you can do so. You can see there's a coupling hook there modelled, but you might want to upgrade that to something a little beefier if you're running these, pulling them by those. You can also see the vacuum brake pipes as well, fitted to each end, and you've obviously got the lighting conduits at each end as well, and you've also got lamp brackets, beautifully fitted individual components to each end of the coach. There you go. Fantastic selection of liveries. Of all of the ones that are present, I have to admit it's quite possibly the teak coaches here which are my 2 favourites. But there's so many different liveries to choose from, and the pre-grouping era is undergoing something of a revival with modelers. It's never really been a big hitter because many people, well, nobody really remembers the era. You'd have to be fairly ancient to have witnessed anything like that. So nobody knows that much about the pre-grouping era other than reading facts in books. Nobody's going to have recollections of it, which is why something like a generic range of coaches makes sense, because you can scale back on the investment of tooling, please modelers at the same time, and those who are very pedantic and want to get complete detail accuracy can use these as a basis to further develop their coaches into a specific one representative of a specific coach on a particular railway, just by modifying them accordingly. I mean, there are enough coaches here in the range of 4 and 6 wheels to enable a modeller to either use the chassis or cut up the bodies accordingly to create whichever sort they want. Obviously, with things like this sort of era, photographic evidence is something that's a lot more scarce than, say, the 1950s and 60s. When lots of spotters were out and about taking pictures of trains. So trying to get complete accuracy of a particular coach from all 4 sides is going to be difficult. Hence why, you know, to some degree, every coach is going to be generic unless you have a diagram to work from. And we know from facts that even a coach that's built to a diagram gets modified during its life. So there we go. The range of pre-grouping coaches from Hattons. Beautiful things, and we'll look forward to seeing the final batch of these arrive for a review in the magazine.